Hello, this is Akiko Sudano with StampinInTheMeadows.com in Downingtown, Pennsylvania, and I'm so excited to be here today to share this card that I'm going to make with you using the Frosted Gingerbread bundle. And hold on just a second, let me see, and let me see, I don't see my, I think I'm alive, but I don't see my it's showing up in my, oh, there we go. Here we are. Okay, I'm all set now. So, hello, Diane. Thank you for joining me today. Hello, Karen. And so this is the frost. So if you saw my card this morning, my card this morning, I used the same bundle to make this card. But for this card this morning, I also used the Memories and More card pack that comes in the suite. It's the Gingerbread and Peppermints suite. Hello, Karen. Thanks for joining me. Hi, Chi. Thanks. And this is and in addition to because the Memories and More card pack has this cute cookie rack, and then I really like this label that's in the thing as well. But I also pulled out the acrylic shapes that are the gingerbread and peppermint acrylic shapes, and I use those to decorate my cookie. I use the cookies. I use those with the mini glue dots, and then I cut out the different peppermint shapes from the designer series paper to put them on the card. And then also the cookies are from the gingerbread and peppermints designer series paper, and it's a 6x6 pack of designer series paper. And the dies that come in the frosted gingerbread bundle cut out the cookies in the designer series paper. It cuts out most of them. And so this morning's card, I went ahead and used the designer series paper to make my cookies. But for today's card, this afternoon, I'm going to be using the dies, and I'm going to cut them out of cardstock, and I'm going to assemble them instead of using the cookies from the designer series paper. Before I go into that, let me show you real quickly what you have with the designer series paper. You've got all of the different cookies. You've got 3 stamps of 3 different kinds of cookies that you can stamp. And then with the dies, you've got 4 different kinds of cookies that can be cut. You've got an outline die for each of the shapes, and then you've got a detailed die. And then the outline die is going to cut most of the cookies off of the designer series paper. You can see the bell here, and then the snowflake, and this has got Christmas ornaments. And then there are 2 cookies in the designer series paper that if you want to use them, you're going to have to fussy cut them. And then there's this panel that has the Christmas tree cookies, so you're going to have to fussy cut those guys. And then also this panel has the mittens that are cute, and those will have to be fussy cut too. In addition, you've got on all of these panels, you've got all of these different little peppermints. And you can use all of these little circle dies to cut out the peppermints and stuff. Or if you have punches that are appropriately sized, and I don't remember, I think I measured one of them was like 3/4 of an inch. You can also use a punch to pull them out. But then also you've got other different papers in the designer series paper pack in old olive, cinnamon cider, and real red, so that you can use them for other themed Christmas cards as well, or Christmas packaging as well. So I talked about the dies, and I talked about the stamps. Now you've got the 3 stamps for these 3 cookies here in the stamp set. And I was really, really impressed. I don't know if you saw the inside of my card, the card that I made this morning, but I actually stamped these in cinnamon cider ink, and they come out really, really nice and crisp and just really, really pretty. So I was really, really pleased with how the stamps came out. And this is a photopolymer stamp set. Hello, Lisa. Thank you for joining me. So this is a fold palette, and then also you've got these sentiments, and these sentiments come out really nice and crisp as well. And you'll see that in today's card. Now, one other thing that I want to show you, and that's with the dies, is you've got all of these little things here. And what I had done earlier is made these little peppermints, and this is kind of tedious because what I did was I die cut one of these swirls in old olive, one of them in real red, and then the circle backing in basic white, and then glue them all together with just so that they're slightly offset, so that you can make like a peppermint candy with them. And on this one, I put the old olive on top, but you can arrange that however you like, so that it's like a Christmas peppermint candy, or like you would see on a candy cane or something. So these dies, this bundle is just so versatile. I think there's so many different things that you could do, and it's a lot of fun if you've got time to play and work with a lot of those things. There's a lot of different things that you can do. So enough talking about that. Let me go ahead and start assembling my card. And I've already taken the time to cut a lot of the pieces out, and I think I've cut pretty much everything out. And so I'm going to go ahead and start assembling this. What I've gotten is a piece of the designer series paper. See the pretty stripe panel on the back of this, and I'm going to adhere this to the front of a real red card base. And I'm going, actually, no. You know what? I'm going to do this because I want to put this old olive panel right down the center of this. So I want to line up my paper with my mat here, so that I know that this thick line on my white on my white mat is the center of this panel. Okay, and I will line this up so that this goes down the center. And like I said, I have all of the measurements on my blog, and this particular old olive piece, I just wanted to make sure that this was approximately in the center of the design that was on the paper. So I just kind of eyeballed it. I think it's about 2 1/4 inches, but might be just a little hair shy or a little bit more. But because the objective was to get that so that it would be, the design would be centered on the paper. And so now I'm ready to put this panel on the front of my card base, and I'm just going to cover the back with liquid glue, squirt some in the center, and just cover the whole thing with the whole card base with the designer series paper panel, and get that covered. And then give that a good press. There we go. So that's my card background, and so I'm going to put that aside. Now for the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stamp. I've cut out this little scalloped rectangle, and I'm going to stamp the sentiment from that stamp set, wishing you a Merry Christmas, and I'm going to stamp that in real red. And I'm going to stamp it in the bottom corner of this scalloped rectangle panel. See, it comes out just so nice and crisp. So just need to make sure that it's kind of straight, but it's easy because I've got the want to put it in the bottom. So I've got the lines that from the stitching from the die cut to help me line that up. And it's a little bit off, but I think it'll be okay. So put that aside, And then I think this is ready to go. So then the next thing I'm going to do is like I said, I've used the outline dies to cut out the cookie base, and you can see here with the star because I haven't assembled them yet. And I cut this out of the that new Kraft paper, and this Kraft paper is just a little bit lighter than crumb cake. So and I cut them all so that they're the same color, it still goes well with the other papers in the background, even though it's not the cinnamon cider. But I did this in 2 different ways, and I'm going to show you both of those ways. So the first way is that where I used liquid glue on the back, and I find that there are, for most of these fine, even though it's fine, you've got big enough areas where you can just put your little dots of liquid glue that will hold it down. You've got big enough areas where you can just put little dots of liquid glue and it'll hold it. The old-fashioned way. And then I'll just take this and put this on the larger die cut, and then give it a press. And then I'm going to just put this stamp block on top of that to hold that. And then I'm going to show you a second way that I did this. So the second way that I did this was before I did the die cutting, I put the those adhesive sheets on the back. And then sometimes this can be kind of a pain to pull these to find the crease, because I tend to not put the adhesive sheet over the whole die cut. And this is a very fine, this got a lot of different like little pieces, like I think there's some right here. So sometimes it can be a little bit tedious to try to pull the backing off of this adhesive sheet. And what I find is that with the adhesive sheets too, you can see how the backing is peeling up here. With the adhesive sheets too, you've got enough play time so that if you want to make some minor adjustments in your placement, you've got the ability to do that before you press down and make it kind of permanent. So that's another alternative. So you basically put your adhesive sheet on the back of your cardstock, and then run it through your die cutting machine, and then afterwards you pull the adhesive covering off afterwards. All right, so then is the fun part. The next part is actually going and decorating your cookies. So what I've done is I've chosen to use the red rhinestones to decorate these. And this can be just so addicting. And you just kind of go and figure out where you need your designs and how many. And it's like the red rhinestones are great because there's so many of them. And you can just kind of go to town with making these cookies as elaborate or as plain as you want. And so here I've on these guys, I've stuck them on top of the white the icing part, and then I've also stuck these on the background cookie. Actually, I think that Karen's asking what is the favorite way. I don't know. I like both ways. First I thought that the adhesive sheets would be the preferable way to do it, because some of these lines are so fine. But then I started gluing it, and it's like it's really not so bad to do the gluing. So I don't know. I do both. That's not very helpful. And so that's why I wanted to kind of demonstrate both of these ways that you could do it, because I was really surprised that at how well, you saw how easy it was to put that the glue on the back of the star, and that's not even with like the fine tip glue thing. If you've got a fine tip glue thing and instead of just the fat from the liquid glue, you could use that too. I think that I do like the adhesive sheets. It's just that they're so delicate. The intricate dies can be such a pain to pull it all off. But I think that they both hold equally well as well. So I think this guy is done. So I'm going to put him on the inside of the card. So I am not going to go ahead and decorate him. But the next thing is going to be to place these guys, and I'm going to put them on with dimensionals and adhere the dimensionals to the back of these pieces. I don't know. Have you played with the adhesive sheets before? Karen, I don't know what you think of them. One of the things with the adhesive sheets is that I find is that I'm always forgetting until the last minute, and I say, "Oh my goodness, I could have put that on with the adhesive sheet," and therefore, it's like OBE. Now this Kraft cardstock is, I think that this is a little bit thicker than what you would normally think of as Kraft cardstock. So I was really pleased with that, because I think this is just as thick as regular. Yeah, okay. I like liquid glue too. Sometimes there's some things that I don't like about it, and sometimes I find that how it can be hard to control, and you end up gushing out too much and stuff. But for this, I'm really surprised that it seemed to work well. And I had done some other cookies as well with this delicate with these intricate die cuts. In using the liquid glue, and I just found it a little bit easier than trying to adhere and deal with the adhesive sheets. So put all my. I'm really using a lot of glue dots here on the backs of these guys. Okay. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to basically place these on my panel. I think something like that. So I will. Oh, there's my little scrap bowl. So I can pull all my covers off and put my covers right here. And just basically want to make sure my sentiment isn't covered. That's good. And pull the covers off of this guy. Oh, that guy is stuck down there, so I'm going to need to be a little more careful. There we go. And stick this guy right here. we go. Okay, so this guy, oh, he's mostly off. So I think what I'm going to do is, oh, he's going to be okay because it'll stick to the paper. Well, actually, I'll just stick another dimensional on top of him because I'm going to stick this. I'm going to stick this on there. Now he's covered. I'm going to put this panel on with dimensionals. Actually, I'm going to wait because I want to place my these peppermints, and I think I'm going to go ahead and use this sticky thing and put glue on the back of these, and I want to place these. Actually, I'm going to move this guy up a little bit and this guy down here, something like that. I'll put that one right in the center and stick this guy here, and I'm going to stick this little guy down over here. And then I have a little bow, and I'll stick the bow right there. Actually, I'll stick the bow up in the corner there and stick this guy right here. All right, so stick some liquid glue on the back here. Plop that down right there. Pull this guy up. Stick liquid glue on him. And then put him down. And then this little guy. So these little peppermints are going to be just like embellishments for my card. And stick this right down here. There. Okay, and then the, where's my, yeah, here's my glue dot. Okay. Stick this guy on with the glue dot. And this is that ruffled real red ribbon, which I think is nice with the scalloped edges and stuff. Stick that up on the top corner. There. Now I think we can put this panel on with on our card front with dimensionals, and we'll be finished with our card front. Oh, you just got your bundle on Friday, Karen. Oh, how fun. Well, I hope you enjoy playing with it. I hope you enjoy it. I was really impressed with how versatile it was. This because you can stamp and you can cut out your die cut your cookies, and you can decorate it however you want. You can just die cut it out of the designer series paper. Okay, one more, I think. This guy right here. There we go. Okay, we'll just put this right in the center. Kind of try to be straight a little bit. Oh, I guess I kind of lucked out. I guess that cookie could have gone off the card. That's fine. There we go. So that's the front of the card, and I'm all finished with the front. So let's work on the inside now. Now, I have a basic white panel, and I have the sentiment from the Whimsical Trees, and it's the same sentiment that I used in the card for today. And I think I'm going to stamp this in real red. And I love this sentiment with this stamp set because it just reminds me with the warmth of your home just, to me, says, oh, because cookies warm your heart, warm your home. When you're baking, everything is hot. That's the only problem, is I find myself having such a hard time getting this stamp straight. All right, so this panel is lined up there, and so I'm going to line this up with that. I think we're good, and hopefully we are. There we go. Okay. Well, that's okay. That came out good. All right. So then the next thing I want to do is I want to take, oops, and I just got my finger full of red ink when I went to close that ink pad. So then I'm going to take this cookie, and I'm going to just glue him to the bottom here, and use liquid glue with that. And I think those guys are, some of these are going to go off, and so we'll just trim those off. And here's my cover, and I don't need my dimensional thing anymore because I'm done with the dimensionals. So I'm going to just put this kind of like this and let that go. And then I'll just trim the edge off. Trim this straight. This is a easy cut. There we go. It's just that it went through two pieces of paper since it was double. Okay, and then what I want to do is I want to take the little peppermint stamp, and I want to stamp some peppermints in the top corner here, and I'm going to very carefully ink these two up with real red, and do them like that. Like that, I guess. And then I'm going to clean this off and ink the other one with garden green, and add some garden green to the top there too. Not garden green, old olive. There we go. One right here. And then maybe right here. So you've got, and one more. Since these are all partial. There. So you've got some mints and this cookie, and then one final thing, we're going to put our red DSP at the bottom here, and that's just a little low, so it's going to be straight. I think, let me see, I think I can just slide that guy under. So let me put this on, and I'm going to stick my glue on, and I can just slide this just under the point of that star. There we go. So that's like that, and I think that's where I want it to be. And just trim the ends off. And then adhere this, oh, here's my stamp and seal, adhere this to the inside of the card, and we'll be all done. And I hear what you're saying, Karen, about stamping the images, and I really was impressed. I showed you the inside of my card and how nicely that was with stamping the images, and the dies, the outline dies are gonna cut those nicely too. All right. So put the inside in. It looks okay. So that's the inside of my card, and that's the outside. And so I hope that you enjoyed this today. I think this is a little bit long, and I apologize for that, but I have fun with it, and I hope that you guys have fun playing with this as well. And so that's it for today, and I'll see you next week, and I'll have everything on my blog tomorrow morning. Thank you so much for watching me today. Bye-bye. Have a great week.